Okay, so step one, we're stopping with the lectins and things that are causing the leaky gut. I guess I assume we're all on the same page with that before getting to step two, like I mentioned, repopulating the microbiome and building a strong microbiome. So once we've done that, well, let's not move beyond that. Let's stick with this postbiotics because this is something I hadn't heard of until reading this book. And I want to go deeper into it and talk about that communication between the bacteria in our guts with the mitochondria in our bodies and other cells. So, first of all, how is that happening?
So, um, bacteria and actually fungi love to, eat prebiotic fiber, and they ferment that prebiotic fiber. And the gases, among other things, that are produced by this fermentation are a system of literally a language, and it's called the trans-kingdom communication system between the gut microbiome and the rest of us. And lo and behold, what we would have normally considered one of the side products of eating, which is producing farts, um, was actually incredibly important for our overall well-being, for our energy production, for our mental health, for preventing dementia, and we can, get into that. But simple things like hydrogen gas, which the Hindenburg was full of, a flammable gas. Um, we we laugh when I was growing up in Boy Scouts. We would we ate a lot of beans on camping trips, and we produced a lot of gas. And it was common that you would light a Bic lighter and light your fart. Boy Scouts did that, I guess. And we were lighting hydrogen gas, and it was pretty cool. And it turns out that hydrogen gas is the smallest molecule there is. It instantly diffuses through the wall of our gut and goes into our bloodstream. And little did we know that this hydrogen gas actually is used in mitochondria to produce energy. And shockingly, one of the most wild findings recently was in Japan, where they took a bunch of people with Parkinson's, which, as many people know, is now an epidemic in a neurodegenerative disease. It's a cousin of Alzheimer's. And they took people with Parkinson's and they looked at their microbiome, and they found that these people with Parkinson's didn't have a microbiome that produced hydrogen gas. And they compared this to people who didn't have Parkinson's, and lo and behold, those people had a microbiome that produced hydrogen gas. So then they said, that's really interesting. We're going to give these people with Parkinson's hydrogen water. And you can actually dissolve hydrogen in water. I even have a supplement at Gundry MD that's called H2 Restore, which is a tablet that produces hydrogen water. And they had people drink hydrogen water if they had Parkinson's. And lo and behold, their Parkinson's got better just by reintroducing hydrogen gas into their system. And you go, holy cow, you mean to tell me that this crazy, molecule that's produced as a part of, prebiotic fiber being fermented by our microbiome has that much power to, affect our neurons? So that actually prompted a whole look at all these gases, and some of them are other common gases like hydrogen sulfide. That's the rotten egg smell. And originally, hydrogen sulfide was thought to be toxic. And lo and behold, as I've talked about in all my other books, there's an effect called hormesis, and that's a summary of Nietzsche's famous line, "That which doesn't kill me makes me stronger." And another way of describing it is the dose makes the poison. And so I call it the Goldilocks rule in the energy paradox, where none of something, let's consider hydrogen sulfide, is not very good. Some of something, a little bit of hydrogen sulfide, is really good for you, really good for your mitochondria, really good for your brain. And too much of something, like a lot of hydrogen sulfide, will kill you. And it's finding that Goldilocks just right that is part of the book teaching people what to do. So hydrogen sulfide in the right amount is really good for you. Here's another shocker. Methane, that, greenhouse gas that cows are farting, turns out to be in a very important communication system in us between our microbiome and our mitochondria. So all these things, believe it or not, like I say in the book, step on the gas. Let's really, thank flatulence for something that it's got a bad rap for.
And how do we go about assessing whether or not this is working properly in our system? Is it just, are you farting? Are you not farting? Like, is there something objective we can look at to know if we're in that Goldilocks zone?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things we have found and others have found in our modern diet is our modern diet has been stripped of almost all fibrous containing foods. And it's been stripped because ultra processed foods, one of the things we have removed from foods in heavy milling processes is we've been removing most of the fiber. And most of the foods that contain fiber are now a very small part of any of our diet. The bare minimum for fiber that the government sets is about 25 grams of fiber every day. Most Americans, if they're lucky, maybe get 5 grams of fiber in their diet. If you look at hunter-gatherers like the Hadzas, they get 150 grams of fiber every day in their diet. And it's that fiber that's actually converted into postbiotics. So it's no wonder that we have epidemics of Parkinson's and dementia, and we have epidemics of Crohn's and colitis because we're not producing these postbiotic gases that are so important. So getting fiber back into our diet is one of the mainstays of the energy paradox, and it's actually pretty doggone easy to do.